We all talk about and wonder what the adjustment will be like when we go to another country. Now, if you've traveled a lot and you've been to other countries, it's a good chance it was on a vacation, maybe a week or 2 weeks or a month if you were lucky. And while you were there, you picked up bits and pieces of information. When people are coming here to Ecuador, one of the first things on their mind is, what's it going to cost me? If I'm going to move there, if I'm going to live there, what kind of lifestyle am I going to have? What's it like? And that's why I get a lot of requests for information about rents, about pricing, that sort of thing. But that's not enough. You need to have perspective. You need to understand the economy and how it differs from the economy in North America. Most countries you go to, I'll call it proportional. Let's say rent is half price. Taxis might be half price. Food might be half price, give or take a little bit. It's proportionally different. And that's fairly easy to understand. You can just kind of program into your brain, it's about that. Ecuador, definitely the opposite of that. It's not proportional. And that's where people get confused, that's where they get misconceptions, that's where they kind of fall into a trap of thinking they get it. When they first arrive here, they're thinking proportional. And so they're thinking, okay, I got my rent, it's $350. Oh my God, that's less than half of what I was paying in the US. And their brain kind of carries that over to other things. And so their first impression when they get here for the first month or two is, I can do so much more with the money that I have. And they tend to be pretty free with their money, be loose with their money, because they're thinking in their brain that everything's just going to be so much cheaper and I've got this much money to spend and so I can throw this around. My thoughts on this came from a very long thread in Facebook about tipping. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video, but I think it's really important to understand the economy here. And as I mentioned in the cost of living number 2 or number 3 that I did, the things that you need to live are quite inexpensive. The rents, transportation, gas, electric, not so much internet. Internet kind of falls in the middle. But food in the local markets, and that's by design. Ecuador has a country, has an economy that is somewhat by design. They use taxes and tariffs to control the economy. There's a certain amount of price setting that goes on. And I won't go into the positives and the negatives of that right now, but just understand that exists. For example, the gas that you use for your stove, the propane tanks. I mentioned once it was like $2, $3 for a tank. It's like, oh my God, that might be $20 or $15 or whatever, where you came from. Understand that it's subsidized. Buses. I take a bus that's on average 40 minutes from Cuenca to 22-mile distance, takes about 40 minutes. It cost me $1. Now, does that cost really $1? No, it's subsidized. How do they pay for that subsidy? They pay for it by taxes and tariffs on other items. So what they've done is they've taken all the things that you need to survive, and they've subsidized and kept those prices below what they would be normally. And everything that they consider a luxury, like this camera, for example, they pound the hell out of it with taxes and tariffs. They also affect the things inside the country. So if you buy a stove that's made in Ecuador, you're going to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars less than if you buy a stove that's made in Japan or Taiwan or even the US. The economy, as a result, is not proportional. And so when you get here and you say, oh, the food, that was so cheap, these lunches are so cheap, and that rent is so cheap, and oh my God, so I have all this extra money, what happens eventually is it starts to catch up to you. As you start buying the things that make you comfortable. You didn't grow up in this economy. You didn't grow up loving mote and all those basic foods and that sort of thing. You grew up in a place where you had a lot of choices for food. And believe me, in your mind, you might think you're going to come here and just, live like the locals live and that sort of thing. But you're going to miss certain things, be it brownies or hamburgers or whatever it is. And so when you go to the store, you're going to say, oh, look at that. I mean, I have a friend who is absolutely insane for Snickers bars. She loves Snickers bars. So if she were here and she goes to Super Maxi and she just can't live without Snickers bars, she's going to buy a 6-pack of the smaller candy bars for about $8. And she's going to go, oh my God, that should be $3 all day long. Okay, so it's not just candy bars. There are many, many things that you're going to want. There's going to be things that you need. Even though you're making an adjustment to a different lifestyle, there's certain things that you don't want to give up. And when you buy those things, it's going to kick you in the teeth. And what's going to happen is you're going to find out that those things offset a lot of the things that are subsidized or low cost. And that's where people fall into a trap and they don't understand. Now, how much can you adjust to that type of economy will have a lot to do with how happy you are. I happen to like a lot of things that unfortunately are rather expensive here, but I know that. And so I make my adjustments to it. I'm also fortunate enough to have the ability to have flexibility there. But some people come here locked in. Let's say they come on a retirement visa and maybe they're only getting $1,000 or $1,500 and that's it. And there's no other way for them to make money. They really need to understand this economy because they might come here and survive on that $1,000 a month and do okay, but be absolutely miserable because they had to forego too many of the things that they really enjoy. Other people might come on that and not miss any of the things that they grew up with, and so they adjust very well. They might even have a little extra money. So that's really key to understand the economy of Ecuador because, while it's not completely unique, it's somewhat unique in that most places that people go, it's more proportional than subsidized like it is here. So in the next video, when we talk about tipping, understand, keep in the back of your mind the economy and the effect of the local people, how that works, and how you impact that economy. It's very important because sometimes what you think is a good and generous thing could be hurting yourself in the long run, but you can also be hurting people here locally. And so what you view as a generosity and a good thing could ultimately be a negative thing. We'll get to that in this next video.
You know you could.